Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Co-op Podcast, episode 162. I'm your host, Richard Bailey Jr., and today I'm joined by Mr. Gary A. Swaby. What's up, Gary?
What's up? Good to be back.
Yes, definitely. Good to be back. We also have Mr. Jake James Lugo. How's it going, Mr. Lugo?
I'm doing good, Rich. How you been, bro?
Doing very good. And we have a very special guest today, Mr. Austin Conway. How's it going, Austin?
Hello, guys. Long time no talk to. An even longer time, still no see Gary.
Oh yeah,
about you?
it's been too long, man.
Yes.
I think Gary's having some camera issues, so you probably won't see him today. So
Unfortunately.
yeah, but we'll see what happens later on. So we have quite a bit of topics to get in. We do apologize. We was not here last week. There was a lot that was going on last week. We were pretty busy, so we'll make up for that today, though, because we do have a lot to discuss. But before we get to that, of course, we got to talk about what we have been playing. So how about you go first, Austin? Let us know what you've been playing.
Yeah, while I've been away, because I've been in LA for a bit, I left all my stuff back home. So I had but I still ordered stuff. So I got back to the house and there was just this stack of Amazon purchases. My brother just set in my office for me. So I just get into it, and I've been going through Doom, Uncharted 4, just wrapped up. What else? Quantum Break, which I just started, and God of War 3 Remaster on the PS4. Some other stuff that I haven't started yet, but those are the ones I'm playing right now. God of War, forgot how great it was. Uncharted 4, good, but I got some qualms.
Well, I know that JJ and Gary probably haven't had a chance to play it yet, so we'll possibly revisit that stuff later on, because I definitely want to hear what some of the qualms are. But yeah, why don't you also let the listeners know real quick what you've been up to, because you've actually been doing some pretty important stuff.
Well, thank you. I've actually been last 6 to 10 months, actually almost a full year, I've been in Los Angeles at USC in their film grad program, which is nifty in a cool way because I get to walk by a PSVR dev kit. Oh, I don't know if I should say it's there or not. I get to allegedly walk by some really cool stuff from time to time. So, yeah, it's been a great opportunity, and LA is an extreme place, and it's been a great experience so far. And I hate to be taken away from the coalition, but I've been trying to do right by you guys in other fronts. So.
Hey, that's fully understood, and very glad to hear that you are having some success with that. Definitely looking forward to seeing a movie that you may be potentially working on in the future.
Oh, much appreciated, sir. You know what? I can't wait to the coalition, the true story. It's gonna be there's gonna be so many explosions. It'll be hardcore. It's gonna be great. Michael Bay will direct.
Looking forward to it, definitely. So let's move on to the next person. How about you, Mr. Lugo? What have you been playing?
Well, I've been playing a lot, a variety of different stuff. I mean, again, like I said last time that I was on here, I did the review for Valkyria Chronicles Remastered on PlayStation 4, which we have a review on the site that everybody could check out, which is cool. Okay, I play a little bit more of that. Game is great remastering. A lot of people missed out on that classic back on the PlayStation 3 era. Now's the perfect time to dive back into it because, keep in mind, Sega is actually thinking about localizing other Valkyria Chronicles games here in the United States from Japan. So definitely, if you really want to kind of make yourself vocal about checking out those types of games, especially how good they are, definitely pick up Valkyria Chronicles on PS4. It's very good. The other game, I could say that I'm playing, but I can't really get into specifics of it yet because of embargoes and stuff, is I'm playing Odin Sphere Leprosire on both PlayStation 4 and PlayStation Vita. Well, pretty soon, we're going to be having a review go up on the site. Again, it's going to be for mainly just the PlayStation 4 version, but again, it's available on PS4 and PS Vita. But as soon as we're able to talk about more about it, I'll be able to kind of give you guys some more details about that game. As well as also occasionally, on Twitch and stuff, I'm also playing stuff like Splatoon. I'm playing Smash Brothers, playing Pokken Tournament for fun, and a couple other games here and there on my 3DS and my PlayStation Vita. So I've been busy, and I have a couple other games coming in very soon that I'm going to be playing, hopefully to get all this stuff done before E3, because E3 is going to be a huge storm in the next couple weeks. So we're just preparing for it as stuff starts to come in.
Absolutely correct about that. It is going to be a storm. We're going to be very busy, but looking forward to all of it. Looking forward to seeing all you guys in person as well. So we'll have a good time. How about you, Gary? What have you been playing?
Well, this week, I've been playing some. I actually downloaded DC Universe Online again and started playing that. It's actually a really fun game, and I love the whole concept of being able to create your own superhero or villain, and then just take them into this universe, and you can play alongside like the other main superheroes like Batgirl and Power Girl and Batman, Superman, all the big DC characters and stuff. So I find that aspect really cool, and then obviously you can see other people's creations flying around or running around and all that stuff. So yeah, it's a really slept on MMO, I think. Like not enough people really talk about DC Universe Online, but I've been really enjoying it. So yeah. And also I got it a bit later than everyone else got it, but I finally started Uncharted 4. I started it last night. And I played like the whole introduction part where Drake first meets up with his brother, and like they're in the prison, and all that stuff. So that it was really cool. I was blown away by everything. Like the graphics look incredible. The physics, the animation, like everything is just on point. And I like how the game kind of it's got elements of previous Uncharted games, but there's also a big Last of Us influence on it too. So I'm really liking that. And yeah, I can't wait to play more. I think right after this podcast, I'm just gonna play it till I fall asleep, pretty much. So yeah, that's all I've been playing this week.
Sounds good. Yes, absolutely. And as for me, I've also been playing Uncharted 4. Fantastic game thus far. I'm not yet at the end, although I do know what happens at the end. I'm not going to spoil it on this particular episode. I'll save that for another episode. But so far the game is good from what I have played. We'll see. I'm still trying to figure out some of the issues with the game. The story, in my opinion, definitely the strongest element of the game. The graphics look fantastic. Oh, go ahead. You about to say something?
My face says most of it for me. No, like I thought, like yeah, graphics mechanically, I kind of think the story is the weakest of the. I think it's the sum of its part, and I think that's the part that's lacking. And I think the reason it's lacking is because it kind of goes out and betrays a lot of what the last installments did. I don't like how they characterized Drake, but everything else is great. It has the best last chapter of any Uncharted. I'll say that.
Okay. Yeah, well, hey, I definitely am going to finish so we can revisit that conversation because, yeah, the game, I will say one thing. This was a game that I also do have Doom. I played a little bit of Doom because Doom came out last Friday. I played this game for a few hours. Then I put it down for a while. But then when I came back to it and played it, like I wanted to constantly play through the rest of the game, but I had to stop because I had to go to work the next day. So it definitely is a game that pulls you in. Speaking of Uncharted, yeah, it definitely pulls you in. But I have to finish it. But once I finish it, we definitely will have a discussion about some of the other issues with the game. Outside of that, I attempted to go back and play Batman Arkham Knight last night. And I have to say this right now. Now I'm a Batman fan, but man, I am not a fan of the way that you use the Batmobile in that game. When I got reminded of how you're shooting at the tanks and stuff like that, man, it's just so annoying. That's the one element that I don't like about the game. Everything else is okay, but that car combat stuff, yeah. So
Yo, when I first did that the first Riddler race thing that you got to do,
yeah,
I was like, oh man, this was a bad idea. Putting the Batmobile.
yeah,
Like this is too much.
but see, it's funny you mention that because that was at the point where I stopped playing the game for several months, and then I just started playing last night, and I was reminded, oh yeah, this is where I'm at, the Riddler part. So I'm not a fan of that. I know they had to put the Batmobile in there, I guess, to bring it to another level, but maybe it's a good thing that now they're taking a break from this series altogether because I mean, the first game was fantastic. Second game was great also. But you know, they definitely need a breather. So I understand. Um, but that's pretty much all I have been playing thus far. Definitely have quite a bit more to play. Overwatch is coming out next week, and there's a couple other games coming out in the next couple of weeks. So definitely stay tuned for our thoughts on some more of those games because I'm pretty sure we will have something to say about that stuff. But we're going to go ahead and jump right into the topics. Right off the bat, definitely want to address something because we appear to have been receiving a lot of attention for this. As many of you already know, Mr. Jake James Lugo had a chance to do an interview not too long ago, and this led to a couple of questions, and basically one in which people started to say, well, Kingdom Hearts 3 will definitely be at E3. I've seen people say that, and I've seen them also say that a release date is also going to be announced at E3. So, Mr. Lugo, please feel free to enlighten us about the situation and exactly what that interview was about that you had not too long ago.
Yeah, sure, Rich. So we wanted to talk about this last week, but obviously, things with E3 and planning just got so crazy or whatnot because we're in that time frame where it's grind time, right? Pretty much right before the show. You know what I'm talking about. Gary knows what I'm talking about. Everybody here knows what I'm talking about. It's just that things kind of get shoved under the rug and we can't address them right in the middle when we're trying to get stuff done that's important. But basically, here's what happened, right? So we went to PAX East. Like you were originally supposed to go, but you couldn't make it. Okay, which was one of the things we wanted to chill. We wanted to go grab some New England clam chowder, and we couldn't do so. So that was in of itself a travesty. But here's the problem, though. Okay, we got a lot of work done or whatnot. One of the things that I got done was that I had the chance to talk to Hironori Okayama, who's the producer of Kingdom Hearts Unchained Key, which is for iOS and for Android, for mobile devices. It's the first real mobile entry into the Kingdom Hearts series, which is a big deal because this isn't a console release. This isn't a handheld release, kind of like on the 3DS or the PlayStation Vita. This is something different that a lot of people were kind of skeptical about. But we had the chance to sit down with the producer of the actual game and kind of get some answers about the game itself, specifically about the battle system, about how the reception was, with everybody, Kingdom Hearts fans around the entire industry, around the internet and stuff, how they reacted to it, and all this other cool stuff. It was a good, almost about a half-an-hour interview, which was great. I really encourage you guys to check it out. It's on the site right now that you guys can check this out. But now here's the thing that we want to address, right? We got a lot of attention on this interview, not just because it's with the producer of the game, but also because there's been a lot of stuff that's been touted around about this interview that isn't necessarily true. That people have kind of been reaching, quote unquote, about specific pieces of news related to the Kingdom Hearts series, specifically related to Kingdom Hearts 3. One of the things that, for whatever reason, came out of nowhere that people were saying was that Okayama-san actually had talked about Kingdom Hearts 3 with me when I met with him at PAX East during the interview, which is completely untrue. One of the things that people are kind of pointing to, and we already addressed this in our video, and we talked about it afterwards after it was going on and stuff, was that Square Enix had kind of loosely kind of alluded to me of when we might be hearing more about this game. They didn't talk about it. Let me put it this way, and I want to make this very clear. We didn't talk about Kingdom Hearts 3 explicitly. We didn't talk about the game. We didn't talk about release date. We didn't talk about Kingdom Hearts HD 2.8. We didn't talk about none of that whatsoever. We were strictly talking about Kingdom Hearts, Unchained Key for mobile devices, and a little bit of Kingdom Hearts, back cover, which is kind of related to it, but we didn't even really get into it. Now, one of the things that came up that I said in the actual video was that eventually we're going to hear more about Kingdom Hearts 3 either during or after E3, which is kind of a fair assessment. That's kind of like common sense. Everybody's going to know that we're going to hear about this game very soon. Number one, this is one of Square Enix's biggest upcoming games within the next year or two, because I'm pretty sure that this year belongs to Final Fantasy 15, as well as also the next year, or if not the following year, will belong to Final Fantasy 7 Remake. Again, they have a lot of big games that are incoming and stuff. But bottom line is this, okay? I don't think it's kind of right, to us, to Okayama-san, who gave up his time, to speak with us or whatnot, for so many people on the internet and so many people that have been checking out our news and stuff and been so thirsty for Kingdom Hearts 3 news to kind of really sensationalize and kind of reach really hard for news about Kingdom Hearts 3 at our expense, nonetheless. And not only mine, but also the website here at the Coalition. I think it's kind of ridiculous that I'm seeing a bunch of websites, some of which are very big and some of which have a very big following, respectable sites. And that's cool. They do great work or whatnot, I'm pretty sure. But I think it's kind of messed up, not even to kind of, do due diligence to the story at hand of which they were going to publish, let alone ask me individually. Come to me and ask questions to follow up, to kind of reconfirm the confirmation or whatnot about what was going down. Because so many websites that I saw, including a Reddit post, including another website which I reached out to personally about this, that clearly were just having clickbait headlines, saying about random stuff that wasn't true, saying that Okayama talked about specific things or said certain things, quoting him even, to that extent when it wasn't the case at all. Even going as far as to say that I said some stuff which I didn't. I found that to be a little bit ridiculous. And again, this has to do with a lot of people really kind of hyped up about this game, which is fine. We're hyped up about this game. I'm hyped up about this game, as you know, Rich, because again, I've been following this game for years now, as well as the entire series. I'm pretty much an expert on the Kingdom Hearts series at this point. But it's still kind of sad and still kind of ridiculous that so many websites, just for the simple fact of, getting hits and for the simple fact of getting attention at the expense of us, as well as the fans who are really looking forward to this game, that needs to change. And I'm putting everybody on notice. I'm putting the Kingdom Hearts community on notice. I'm putting out websites on notice. Listen, do your guys' job a little bit more diligently. Try to actually do due diligence to your fan base and to your viewers and your readers about the information that you put out there, and don't put sensationalized or untrue info out there based off of games that everybody's excited about. That's basically what I wanted to say. And I encourage you guys to check out the interview that we have on the website. I think it's very good. I spent a lot of time actually trying to vet the info on there and really kind of get some good questions for you guys from Okayama himself. And again, he talked about stuff that not a lot of other places are talking about in relation to Kingdom Hearts Unchained Key. He gave us some hints or kind of information about stuff that are secrets about the game that people have yet to find out. He talked about the battle system in depth for the game itself, that a lot of people are really kind of, checking out all the different quests and all the kind of cool events that are going on. I believe it's weekly for Kingdom Hearts Unchained Key, as well as also some stuff that he was actually thinking about that I had asked him. I had asked him specifically, anybody that's a Kingdom Hearts fan knows about the drive forms from Kingdom Hearts 2, that ability to change up your form and be more powerful. I asked him about if that was possible to actually implement something like that into Unchained Key, and he said he was kind of thinking about that, and he kind of elaborated on it a little bit. So again, I encourage you guys, check out the interview. It's got some great content. Don't believe some stuff out there that people have been talking about, release date for Kingdom Hearts 3 or confirmation at E3 2016 and stuff, without really getting the facts out there. There was only one website that I want to give a shout out to, Rich, if you don't mind, that actually helped me out, that actually not only was respectable enough to actually contact me and actually reaffirm and re-ask me about that info about Kingdom Hearts 3 at E3, like exactly what was said, and that was the only website that did so. That was kh13.com. They were the only ones that, again, a friend of mine that I know over there who does a lot of great work and stuff, hit me up on DM and asked me about it. And then once I told him what the deal was, he was like, okay, cool. The only thing he published afterward when he reported on our interview was about the interview itself. He didn't put any other clickbait titles. He didn't put any other information that was false. He didn't put any other crazy stuff to garner attention. So every other website that's out there that's been talking about E3 2016 that Kingdom Hearts 3 is confirmed for there, you guys are full of nonsense. You guys got to do your jobs better. You got to do your stuff better a little bit. For your audience. Much like what we do here at the Coalition is all I'm saying. But either way, Rich, your thoughts on the matter.
Yeah, Hey, well, I'm glad that there was clarification because, again, people may not think it's a big deal. They may think, well, we like to get seen, we like to get exposure, yes, but the facts have to be true. And I don't want it to be a situation where we get to E3, nothing is said about Kingdom Hearts 3, and people come back and say, well, you guys said it was going to be news on Kingdom Hearts 3. No, we never said that. We said it's possible it could be there or it could be afterwards. So we just wanted to clarify that. But no, yeah. Also, do want to thank the same site for clarifying the story. Because I saw a lot of funny stuff. When I saw
We got a Reddit post, bro. We got a Reddit post based on our interview, which is crazy.
yeah, and yeah, like you said, for all of the same reasons of it being Kingdom Hearts 3, which the interview was not about. But I did see easily the funniest thing I saw was there was a post that said the release date will be announced at E3, and I said, no, I don't know about that. I think right now Square Enix, as you already said, they need to focus on Final Fantasy 15. And I would imagine that we'll also get Final Fantasy 7 remake next year, perhaps. Maybe Kingdom Hearts, but the Kingdom Hearts will have its time where we'll have a whole bunch of focus, and maybe Tokyo's Game Show is where you'll hear something else about that. I mean, I don't know, but yeah, we'll have to see. But yeah, we just wanted to clarify that because I thought it was interesting. I thought it was very entertaining, actually. So
I thought it was comical, B. I thought it was hilarious. I remember telling you, like, we saw the Reddit post, which is great. We love people checking out our content. We love people checking out the YouTube videos, leaving comments, sending us tweets and stuff. We love that stuff because we want to have that dialogue with all of you. And we want you guys to be excited for games and stuff. But we don't want anybody else to do that same type of thing at our expense and kind of like throw us under the bus. And then we look foolish and then everybody else looks foolish at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. No, I agree. So I think the clarification was needed and necessary, and hopefully everybody is understanding of that now. So thank you for giving us the explanation. And just for those that didn't know, we do thank again, we do give a shout out to the site you mentioned for all the support.
Gage13.com, yeah.
Cool. All right, so we're gonna move on to the next topic. Because I know Gary absolutely has to talk about this immediately because, he said he wanted to talk about it. Of course, you guys can chime in. I'm not sure if Austin plays it, but Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 was officially announced. Gary, go ahead and give us your thoughts, and then we'll let the others give us their thoughts.
Yep, so I'm sure everyone knows, I'm a huge Dragon Ball Z fan. Well, all of it, Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, even some parts of GT, but it's not that great. And Dragon Ball Super, I love it all. And as far as the Dragon Ball Z games, I mean, there was a few good ones in the PS2 era, but then they kind of fell off, in my opinion, and they started to get really repetitive. But then last year, Bandai Namco released Dragon Ball Z Xenoverse, and that kind of really revolutionized the whole Dragon Ball Z gaming concept. It made it like a community of Dragon Ball Z fans. Like you could create your own Z fighter. It could be a Saiyan, it could be a Namek, it could be the Frieza race, it could be an Earthling. So giving us the option to create, our own Z warrior with different races and classes and stuff, that was just awesome right there. And then, the storyline, it wasn't just like a whole rehash of all the storylines that we've played again and again and again. It was literally like you have to kind of fix the Dragon Ball Z timeline, and there's new villains and there's completely new anime cutscenes that are included in it. So it's like a real fresh story. And then you add the fact that it's basically a hub world, so you can see other Dragon Ball Z warriors that people have made. They're running around and you can interact with them, you can check them out, see what their power level is and all that stuff. And then you can customize your own guy. You can go to the shops, you can buy costumes and new attacks. You can have your favorite moves, like whether it's the Spirit Bomb or the Kamehameha Wave or the Final Flash from Vegeta. You can have all the big Dragon Ball Z moves. So that was great right there. So the fact that they're making a Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 is a very big deal. But I kind of have some concerns because, in the trailer, it looked very similar to the first game, especially the mechanics. Like it looked like they literally just took the same exact engine and didn't do anything to it, and they're just adding. It doesn't even seem like they're adding new features. It's just new locations, new settings, probably some new cutscenes and new storyline and everything. But gameplay wise, it seems like they're keeping everything the same, and that's a huge concern because because although the first game was great, there's a lot that they could improve on. And one of the big things for me is that in the previous game, only the actual Saiyan race was able to have a transformation, so you could transform your character to Super Saiyan, at various levels. But if you was a different race, like the Buu race or the Frieza race or the Nameks or whatever, you couldn't actually transform, even though those races do have transformations in the anime. So that was a concern, and I was hoping that that would be something they would fix, so that you could have different transformations as the other races. But we won't know if you can do that until they actually reveal everything, which I'm guessing is going to be at E3, and we're going to be there. We've got an appointment with them, so I'm going to be asking them all these questions. But yeah, I mean, so far it's I'm definitely concerned just because that trailer, it just it kind of looks exactly the same a little bit. But I'm still excited that we're getting another Dragon Ball Xenoverse. It was definitely needed, especially because Dragon Ball Super is actually ongoing at the moment. So there's new Dragon Ball anime content coming out. So it was only right we got another game, just to have all these other new characters in the mix. So yeah, definitely looking forward to that. If you're a Dragon Ball Z fan, hit me up. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it as well. So, hit up the comments. Anyone here into Dragon Ball Z? I guess that's a no.
Dragon.
It's been a long time. I never played the games, but I mean, I'm glad that the fan base is being supported with good content.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's been a long time coming, like because for a long time the games were so repetitive and just uninteresting. So it's good that there's a Dragon Ball Z game that you can be excited about now. So it's a good thing. But yeah, that's it really. That's all I had to say. Seems like you guys are all muted. You don't have nothing to say, so yeah.
Well, I think JJ has something to say.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, it looks cool. I mean, again, I saw, like, it's exciting. We're getting another Dragon Ball Z game. Hopefully, like, there's a lot of like nuanced little things that are different about this one over the first Xenoverse game, because the first Xenoverse game had problems. That was one thing. A lot of Dragon Ball Z fans or people that were really enthusiastic about that game do recognize that there were some issues that needed to be addressed, including the RNG drop, some of the online server stuff with the multiplayer, things like that, little things like that. That should be adjusted, hopefully, by the time we see this game. So, again, we're going to be at E3. We're going to go see all of Bandai Namco's games. Hopefully, we're going to see some good stuff. They tell us some interesting stuff about Xenoverse 2.
Yeah, I hope that they definitely need to fix the server issues because with the first game, I mean, it was mainly at launch, like it was a couple weeks after launch or so, and the server was still kind of jacked up. And you couldn't actually see people, roaming around the Toki city, which is like the hub area. So hopefully, they manage that the right way this time, and it's all fixed and everything.
Yeah, I'm not. Listen, I used to be into Dragon Ball Z, the cartoon, but when every episode just had me literally waiting to find out what was going to happen with the next episode, and then I see it picks up exactly where it left off every single episode. Well, I said, oh, okay, all right, well, it's all right.
I'm with you, Rich. There's something about the the way time works in that universe, where it's like we've got 5 minutes left. Now let's stretch it out to 13 episodes.
Yes.
Yeah.
The fact that most of the dialogue is a lot of.
Yeah. You literally have whole episodes of them just staring at each other and just thinking, like, basically. So, I mean, yeah, it's the downside of Dragon Ball Z, but it's still one of my favorite animes and cartoons in general of all
No, I mean,
time.
like,
So,
it's great, but I realized that you could be like one of the worst magicians in our own real world, pull off a simple like rabbit from a hat trick, and amaze the Dragon Ball Z characters for days because they're just always like so easily shocked. Oh wait, where'd that
yeah, it's kind of like WWE commentators, like they're always shocked at anything that happens. So,
Yeah. Well, no, I think Dragon Ball Z is a lot better than WWE right now. But yeah, that's another story. Yeah. So definitely looking forward to hearing more about that. Yeah, I know you guys have an appointment with Namco Bandai at E3, so yeah, I'll be very interested to see what comes from this. But hey, game is, I figured it may be a little bit more of the same, but hopefully it does have some other elements to it that makes it interesting. And of course, the things that needed to be improved upon hopefully are addressed. But
yeah, I really want it. I want it to be a lot like the next game that I think we're going to discuss, which is Destiny, because the first Xenoverse, it kind of had features like that where you can run into people and then you could play, different quests together and stuff like that. So I'm hoping they work on that and make it, as intuitive as Destiny and, The Division and games like that are. So, yeah, we'll see.
all right, so you actually segued right into the next point. Of course, the next Destiny expansion was leaked called Rise of Iron. Don't really know a lot of information about it yet. I know it's going to have a new raid in it, a raid that was originally scrapped from the original game a while back. And, I guess more PvP event stuff will be added in there as well. Not really, like I said, there's not really a lot of information that is out there yet because it wasn't supposed to be revealed yet. But let me just go ahead and just ask the question. Forget about all this other stuff. Are any of you guys planning on actually jumping right back into Destiny for this expansion?
I'm thinking about it. I mean, to be honest with you, what I'm more curious about is if the people, because the same type of people that played Destiny hardcore, through the last couple expansions and stuff when the game came out, are also the same type of people that are also playing stuff like The Division. I know. I'm more curious to see if like those same type of people are going to drop The Division and go back to Destiny for this new expansion, or if they're going to stick with it. I mean, that's a really curious thing for me.
They will, because to be honest with you, I think people have stopped playing The Division already. Like, to be honest with you, I know that there's still people playing The Division, like people who are really excited and hardcore, about the game. But I feel like a lot of people have just dropped off of The Division already, and they're not even, playing it anymore. Because I feel like the grind in The Division is too much for people, like to get good equipment and stuff, and just general equipment that stands out, because a lot of it is the same, basically. So I feel like, they need to kind of work on the loot system a little bit, because Destiny perfected it, but, The Division kind of still need to work on their reward system and, how you get good loot and just differentiate the loot, basically, so that it's not all the same.
Okay, one second. Let me make a quick comment, because I cannot resist. You have to give Ubisoft credit. Because the title of The Division, it really did divide the masses.
Oh, I was gonna make it. I was gonna say, are you telling me there's been a division over The Division? Damn you, Rich!
That's hilarious. There's another question, though, that I want to ask you guys that's kind of related to this. Do you think this is also going to be kind of relevant in a world now where we have games like Battleborn and Overwatch that are coming that are going to eat up a lot of people's times? Because, again, if you think about it, those types of games are going to really kind of demand a lot of people jumping online and playing matches and stuff like that. With a game like Destiny, especially with it being so loot-based and having to get a bunch of people to do raids and stuff, that also requires a lot of time and devotion to and whatnot. Do you think that people are going to be able to split their time like that between all these different games that are kind of somewhat similar in premises?
Yeah, I think they could do. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Austin.
No, I was going to be like, I don't think Battleborn's going to pull in the numbers, especially with its proximity to Overwatch. But go ahead, Gary. Sorry.
Oh no, it's fine. Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think the Taken King was really big. Like it did much better than I thought it would do, and I feel like they got a lot of new gamers at that point as well. Like even people who didn't buy the game the previous year were buying the Taken King, and it for the most part it was like a rebirth of Destiny. So they did a really great job with that. But this time around, I mean, me personally, I'm not as excited anymore because I feel like I've got Destiny fatigue because I played it so much like last year. I'm just like, I kind of just want to break from it. But I do feel like that this could be a big deal for them still, this new expansion. And I don't think it will bring in as many new people as the Taken King did, but I do think it will get people back playing Destiny.
I'd just like to add a quick comment to that. I was one of the people who got back into it with the Taken King, because when the game first came out, I did like many people normally do. I just pick up a game because I know it's going to be the hot game, pick it up, play it for a little while. But there was a lot of games that was out at that time, so I had to take a break from Destiny. And then when they came out with the Taken King expansion, I got back into it, and then I saw how much better the content was for the Taken King than it was originally for all the other stuff. So, yeah, I was definitely one of those people. I do play it from time to time, not quite as much because I have a lot of other games I'm playing now, but it definitely is going to pull some people in. Also, to answer JJ's question about the with Overwatch and Battleborn, I can tell you right now, and I have to say it right now, not trying to downplay this game in particular, but Battleborn, there's just not enough content in Battleborn for what I have played thus far. And I do think that the same is going to be said of Overwatch. With that said, I still enjoy Overwatch a hell of a lot more than I enjoy Battleborn because the characters, there's different things that you can do. And again, it's funny because Overwatch is only a multiplayer game. There's actually a story in Battleborn. But to me, it's just like there's not right now. There's only 3 multiplayer modes in the game. Which I find a little ridiculous. They do have a story mode that you can play, but outside of that, if you want to do multiplayer against another team, there's only 3 modes you can play. And to me, that's a little ridiculous. They're going to add stuff later, but this is the same exact thing that I saw with Evolve and Titanfall, where the developers were adding modes after the fact. And I'm not really on board with that practice. I'm a little tired of that. So we'll see what happens. But Destiny, I may try it out. We'll see. It all depends. They have to really sell it, actually reveal it first. Show me a trailer to get me excited for it, then I'll jump on it.
To go back to the Overwatch and Battleborn thing, Battleborn, I feel like that game's going to be out of here by the end of the month. Like, nobody's going to really, talk about it after that. But Overwatch...
I think that's because, honestly, everybody wanted Borderlands 3. Nobody wants Battleborn.
Yeah,
that's right.
Exactly.
And mind you, Paragon is still coming out too, guys. Keep that in mind.
Yeah, Paragon. Yeah,
that's true. Paragon seems slightly different, though.
I still feel like it fits that same niche, though, because, again, to me, I look at all 3 of them, side by side. They all look very, very similar. I don't understand, from my perspective, I don't understand why Overwatch has kind of gotten the more kind of a lot of publicity and stuff as far as, attention. That's a lot of pre-orders that they had for Overwatch, from my understanding, a ridiculous amount like that. But what I'm saying is that, I look at all 3 of them, they're all very similar in premise and whatnot. So, again, you have these almost 3-4 different types of games that are all kind of like essentially very similar, almost the exact same thing. They're going to be on the market at the same time. So I can only imagine how the attention or the time that's going to be split for players that like those style of games, which one they're going to kind of dive into more so, or which ones they're going to favor, or if they're flat out not going to play certain ones at all while they're all on the market.
To be honest, like I feel like Overwatch is going to be huge when it initially releases and everything. But I feel like the ones that continue to follow Overwatch and play it are going to be the people that are really into like the MOBA and esports scene in particular. You know, like the League of Legends type people. I feel like it's going to be along that line of people who continue to follow Overwatch. Whereas people on consoles, I feel like people on consoles, they move on pretty quickly. So I feel like, you know, it might not the hype might not last as long on consoles as it does on like PC and stuff with Overwatch, and that by the time this new Destiny expansion does come out, people will just go back to Destiny for at least a few months or so, and then they'll, you know, I feel like they'll just switch around a little bit, you know. They'll go back and forth. They'll play different things, but you know, I feel like the Overwatch hype will be maintained on a PC and esports level.
Yeah, you know, and let me just to add on to that. Yeah, I mean, I played the beta, and I don't know what it is about the game. You know, of course, Blizzard is involved, so I know that helped to get it some attention. But it just feels like I don't want to know if I mean, I like the art style, I like the action, so I think the game is great. Now, what I don't like about the game is that they said that everything that was in that beta is everything that's going to be in the final game, and I didn't really see that much content in that game either. But you know, I don't know. Maybe they, again, if they have the plan to release other content afterwards, that's fine, I guess, for free, of course, because there's no way in hell that I would pay anything more with what they have right now, but we'll see about that. But yeah, I think the Blizzard name, and Blizzard is going to have a very good year anyway, because they got that World of Warcraft movie coming out right before E3, like a couple days before the event starts. So that's also got some attention. So yeah, I mean, we'll see how it does, but I do think I have to agree it is going to be a big deal once it actually launches next week. Not really sure how long it will last, but that's to be determined. So, any final thoughts on this topic? I know, Mr. Conway, you have to leave soon, correct?
Yes, sir. I think what I've come to realize about competing markets and like target audience is it all comes down to like if you support your community will support you. Mm-hmm. And really, I mean, which one of these will be left standing will be those who are most active, who are literally putting out the most amount of content. And it's not even just offering new content. I think what made, even going back 10 years ago, Halo so great with Bungie is because Bungie had weekly alerts. Like, they kept people engaged. And if you can... I don't like the concept of games as services because I find that to be a little deceptive. Because to me, that just sounds like it's a season pass. But if you can engage people and keep them wanting to know more about the game, even when the controller's not in their hand, then yeah, I think you'll be fine. I don't see 2K doing that, but you've got Blizzard, who's from the realm of like that's what Warcraft was. It was a community that checked in with each other more than they checked online. So it'll be interesting to see. Same thing with Division and Destiny. Destiny probably will be able to do well given its pedigree.
True. Yeah. Sounds good. Agreed. So you guys want to jump to the next topic?
Is it Batman?
Yeah.
Batman.
Yeah. This is Gary's most anticipated game of the year. So Gary, why don't you tell us, Are you planning on getting Batman Return to Arkham Remastered Collection?
Hell no. Uh, Let me just say that like it finally struck me when they announced this, when I saw that trailer, it finally struck me that is 2016. We're what, like 3, 4 years into this generation, and we're still getting remastered games. They're still trying to sell us the same games over again. Like it's crazy, man. I mean, Austin, I know your point of view because I remember, we used to have this discussion a lot, and you used to say, there's nothing wrong with new people wanting to get into a series, that never got into it before. And yeah, I agree, to some extent that's cool, but I just feel like these companies are just using it as a reason to get a cash grab, basically. Like this whole thing is like this Batman Return to Arkham thing. It's literally like, okay, we have no more new Batman games coming out in the future, so let us make money off of the ones we already have again. And then, we haven't even got our Game of the Year version of Arkham Knight yet, but we'll drop that too later this year. And then once we drop that, then we'll bundle all of them together and say, hey, look, this is the master collection of the Arkham series.
You
Buy
can't even
this.
really say that though, Gary. I'll tell you right now because I was talking about this with my boy not too long ago. That it's just the Rocksteady games. That's the thing. Like, and granted, I didn't like Arkham Origins. I had problems with it, as an Arkham fan and whatnot. Same thing with Arkham Origins Blackgate. But I think it's kind of a little bit messed up. And I've seen some people talking about this, how Warner Brothers and Rocksteady had just completely ostracized that game, like straight up, like not even joking. They completely just like it almost doesn't exist. It's not a complete Arkham package, is my point. I just think that's a little bit weird. Granted, I love the Arkham games. I have, whatever preferences between all three of the Rocksteady games and whatnot. But I don't feel like this is a return to Arkham in its complete, overview and stuff. It's really
Well,
just Rocksteady collection.
I think
do you know why? Do you know why it's not complete though?
Why
So
is
they
that?
can so they can sell it to you again later.
Maybe, yeah, exactly.
I think it's, I don't know, like, I find it, there's a reason why the Nathan Drake collection didn't include Golden Abyss, much like it is the Arkham trilogy. And I think if you market it as the Arkham trilogy, it's not disingenuous. Um, I mean, personally, Gary, we're, I think it'll be great that very soon we'll be able to play a great Batman game on our PS4. Um, I had some qualms with Knight. But yeah, I don't know, man. Like, it's just, I think it all depends on the quality of the remaster. I don't think you'll see a lot of people do what they did with Ratchet and Clank, which was fantastic, which I also need to play. But there have been some really crappy HD ports, and there have been some great ones. And I think if it's a good one, then I think it kind of justifies its own existence. I would rather do that than pay for PlayStation Now to play those older two games on a service. I do like the idea of having kind of all of them contained within one generation. So we'll see. If it's crappy, then it is a cash grab. But if they put the effort into it, you don't know. I think it's the team. They've outsourced it to the guys who did the Final Fantasy X remake. So I don't know how good that was.
It was very good.
Okay.
It was
Oh,
great.
let me address that real quick as well because I know people are gonna say I'm a hypocrite because I buy every Final Fantasy game twice or 3 times, 4 times, whatever. Yeah, but I'm a Final Fantasy person. I really love that series, so I'm gonna buy it no matter what. But my point is that it's become a thing where companies are just using the whole remaster trend to make money, and that's not a good thing. I mean, it's cool for the die-hard, hardcore Batman fan who wants to, buy this stuff because he wants it for his collection and stuff. That's cool. I'm not knocking that. I'm just saying, like, it's become a practice that, companies are just manipulating now. That's my thing.
I think
Also, I wanted to throw one more point in there before I kick it back to you, Austin, is that I don't think the Uncharted comparison is kind of fair, though, because in the case of Uncharted Golden Abyss with the Nathan Drake collection, Uncharted Golden Abyss was optimized for the PlayStation Vita. There was stuff that's done on there that cannot be translated or easily translated to a DualShock like that. With the Arkham games, with the Arkham Origins, is that it's basically a game that was done on the same type of platform with the same hardware and stuff. Basically, a lot of the same assets from Arkham City that again is just being completely ignored by Warner Brothers and Rocksteady like that. I can understand Rocksteady, and I would totally get it if they called it the Rocksteady collection because those are the games that they made. But again, if you're gonna call it Return to Arkham and stuff and say like this is the complete package or this is like all the Arkham games together and just straight up ignore that game, it just is a little bit ridiculous to me.
Well, I mean, in regards to Golden Abyss, we've got Gravity Rush PS4 now. We could get Golden Abyss PS4, but I don't want that at all. I don't know. I think though, in regards to there is an overarching arc from Asylum to City to Night that works in the sense that it's like viewed as one story broken up into 3 parts, whereas Origin is purely a character piece. So it makes sense to try to get all the Rocksteady games, not just because they're trying to pretend that Origins didn't happen, but because Asylum and City literally are 2 prominent chapters in this overall story, versus Asylum this is how we came to be who we are. I think it's a matter of relevancy. I like Origins. I like Origins more than Night, personally. I think it's a matter of relevancy, though, for the overall story that they recently just concluded last year. That would be my read on it. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, well, why don't we ask the bigger question? What you said, you all made great points, but let's answer the real question. Why the hell wasn't Night included in this collection? Because it
just came out.
They're going to sell it to you again. That's why.
Gary's right on the money, and like we joke about it, but I think it's totally true. And we're going to get another thing.
Well, I think it's also a matter like I would ask yourself how many multi-Blu-ray disc collections you've actually seen sold this generation, because we're just not going to have a box set with one slipcase with 3 discs. Furthermore, you can't get Night on that disc either. Night was almost 50 gigs. You could condense and you can get those 2 games on the same Blu-ray disc. I don't think you can get Night on. You could barely get Night on its own disc, let alone sharing.
That's a fair point. That's a very good point.
Like that. Hence why. Did you guys know that like for Uncharted 4, the multiplayer is not on the disc at all?
Yeah, don't you have to download not a patch, but like you have to download some sort of data when you first put it in the game?
5 gigs.
Yeah, something like that.
That to me is the next big question. It's like, when can we get to the point where we're either getting multiple Blu-ray discs, which hopefully won't happen at all, or we can get layered Blu-ray discs? Because the max size is 50 gigabytes per disc, and eventually we're going to run out of room to compress all that data, where things are headed. So it'll be interesting. It'd be nice to get them all on one disc, but it's just not possible at this moment.
Unless, of course, it's download only, digital download.
That, you know what? PS4K and Xbox One 2 provided, but the data, it's taking up a lot of space. I just want to see bigger hard drives. That's another thing. It'd be nice, but that is also like memory space. That's one thing I really enjoy about the way it's set up right now is I still have just the 500 gigabyte, but I can play these games, delete the install, and then reinstall 2 days later without having to go through the entire process of playing back. But yeah, they could do download, but I just think memory is an issue there as well.
Yeah, but this whole thing is pretty much like, they released the Star Wars, what was the new one called again?
Battlefront?
No, the movies, the new Star Wars.
Star Wars Rogue One?
No, the
Force
one
Awakens.
from last year. Yeah, The Force Awakens. So they just released that on DVD, right? And it didn't sell as much as like people anticipated because like Deadpool's outselling it. But the reason is because people are waiting for 6 years from now when they release the Master Collection that's got all the movies together. So it's the same thing that, we're seeing in games now, pretty much. Wait, who just invaded the room?
Well, we have a UFC fighter that has joined the room. It appears.
It's
Who's this?
me, Austin. It was me all along.
Oh.
Well. Yeah, you actually came here just in time because the next topic is one that I'm very curious to get your opinion on.
All right, go ahead.
All right, so the next topic, obviously the topic of the Throwdown show this week was Halo 5 Forge is coming to Windows 10. For those that don't know, that allows you to build maps. So now the question is, will Halo 5 come to PC?
I believe so. I mean, it seems like Microsoft's really like focused on making Windows 10 like a huge platform, and what better way to do it than to put their main game on there and make it available to people. They have Forza, or they were going to do Fable before it got canceled or whatever. Quantum Break. So I mean, they have their biggest titles there already. So I don't see why not. And especially, for Halo, especially the Halo 5 Forge or whatever. Um, like Halo's kind of like it's not a new release, so it wouldn't surprise me too much. It's had like what 6 months out in the market. Um, so yeah, I don't think it's a big deal. Maybe if it was like Halo 6 and it came out day and day with the Xbox version, then maybe it'd be like some like crazy shit to talk about. But as far as now, it's just Forge. I'm not sure what the details are. Um, like, does it have full on multiplayer or something, or what exactly?
Well, I'm assuming that all of this will be announced at E3. I really don't know what all the information is. All I heard was Forge, and I know that our friends over on the Throwdown they decided to use that to say yes, it's coming to PC. Well, we already know that for the most part, a lot of us had already figured it was going to come to PC. So there, of course, will be some people angry. Although I don't understand why they would be angry because Halo has been out on Xbox One since last year. So people shouldn't even care if it comes to PC. Those that already have it or have played it. But that's my opinion.
Yeah, and
Uh,
making it on PC would just be like let's get a little bit more people to play it. Like it's not like it's affecting like someone like me who I'll be honest, man. Halo 5 is the reason I have not beat Quantum Break. It's the reason I have not beat Fallout 4. Is the reason I haven't even played Uncharted, or I did play it, but not too far in. Uh, like it's Halo's fucking fault. It's Halo's fucking fault. I love fucking Halo. Like Halo is my game. Like I just
Okay.
can't like play anything else. I really cannot.
So what do you say to the people who are, basically saying, "Oh, this is the death of the Xbox exclusive because now everything is coming out on PC, so there's no more Xbox One exclusives anymore." Like, what do you say to those people?
See, that's a tricky thing because even as me, the resident Xbox guy, like I guess like it comes down to like, do you prefer playing on a console or a PC? That's pretty much it. Like I prefer playing on the Xbox just because like, like to me it's just easier. I've never been into PC gaming really. I just can't do it with the mouse and the keyboard. Like I just can't. Uh, but maybe somebody can. Maybe like Gary, you're a prime example. Like you would just buy it on Windows, all their exclusives are on Windows, and you'd probably never like put $1 into actually owning an Xbox One console. And so I'm not really sure what the game plan is. I mean, it's true, right? You would never buy an Xbox One if you could play Halo. And I know for damn sure if they're gonna have Halo and Gears 4 on like PC, they're gonna enable you to play with Xbox One players. So
Yeah.
there's no reason for me to tell Gary, hey, get a Xbox One so we can play Halo. Like, so I'm not really sure what the strategy is there, but I don't know. I mean, some people say that maybe Xbox is taking a step back in Microsoft, and it's kind of more about Windows 10 and how they push that.
Yeah, because I mean, people were saying like now there's no way Microsoft can compete with Sony. Like it's a wrap now. Like,
Well, allow me to make a statement about that. First, for those that are listening and not watching, Austin and Mr. Lugo had to dip out. Something happened; they had to leave. We thank them for being on the show. They will be back. They may come back on again.
You know why they left? They didn't want to hear this real shit I'm about to say.
And what's that? What's that?
Oh, I'm just talking about what I just said. This
Oh, okay, yeah,
realness.
all right. I do have a response to what Gary just said. Um, when you said about those that say that Microsoft is not trying to compete, the thing is this: I think Microsoft has already made that clear that they are not trying to compete with Sony because what Phil Spencer said last year, at that event where he said that he doesn't know if they'll be able to catch up with Sony. A lot of people already interpret that as, well, that means that they're not really trying to compete. They're just trying to win over gamers. And in my opinion, that's what they should be focused on, because the messaging when the system launched, that messed up a lot of people. They had the whole transition, getting Don Matrix out of there, because I believe that guy also caused a lot of issues. So they're still trying to recover from that, and they should be concerned about that. I would say this is why they don't give you sales numbers; they report on metrics. But I will say that, yeah, I find it funny that people are still trying to think that they are competing. This is not a competition no more. Sony has a lead, possibly that lead they will have for the rest of this generation. You don't know. I mean, I would guess that is what's going to happen, because I don't have any idea what else Microsoft is working on. I guess we'll find out at E3 what other new games they have, what other new IPs, or what their long-term strategy is. But yeah, I think what their direction now of focusing on building relationships, getting consumers back, getting back in the good graces of the fans, that's what they should be focused on, not about outselling the other consoles, all this other stuff. But that's just my opinion.
I haven't looked at numbers in a long, long time, but how substantial is the lead between PS4 and Xbox One?
oh, it's massive. It's huge. You might want to go and cry. Like it's that big.
Yeah, Gary was very quick to answer that. He was laughing about it.
Like,
Yeah.
how much are we talking? Like 10 million?
It's more than that. More than that.
I mean,
Has the
Because I
PS4
know.
already outsold the PS3?
yeah, I think it has. What
Yeah,
has it? Yeah.
I think. Well, it either has or it's close to. Because I think last time they sold what, like 30 million worldwide or something like that. Like
Yeah.
I have
something
a
crazy.
question.
All right. What's the question?
Why is the PS4 selling so much?
Well, hey, that's a good question. You want to answer that question,
You know what?
Gary?
You know what? Even Sony doesn't know why. Like they were asked this question. They were asked this exact question and they didn't know.
Because like I remember a time, and I hope Anthony Frazier listens to this because this was like old school co-op topic right here. I swear we could have said, I swear back in the day, PlayStation fans were saying that exclusives. PlayStation has all the exclusives and a bunch of fucking exclusives. And I haven't played shit on the PS4 because there was nothing. There is nothing. There's absolutely nothing on it. And I know somebody's gonna say Bloodborne, but Bloodborne is such a niche game. Like it's so like you know what I mean? Like ain't no like not every gamer's gonna play that. Even that Until Dawn, like that's a niche game. Uncharted, that's like a massive AAA title. That's like the first, I would say.
Yeah, that like to me, Uncharted is like the first massive
It's like
blockbuster game.
universal, like you're everybody's it's for everybody. It's an
Yeah,
adventure game, it's a shooter, it's for everybody. Everybody's gonna like that game. Until Dawn is like, well, do you like this? Do you like this type of game? And and Bloodborne 2 is like, oh, do you like to die 1,000 times? Because that's what's gonna happen.
Well, we do know one person very well that was not a fan of Bloodborne, Gary's boy, Hip Hop Gamer. So that is correct when you say it's not necessarily for everybody. Um, but yeah, it just I guess it is about people's preferences, what they prefer. You
yeah.
know, go ahead.
Okay. No, you
Oh no,
care.
oh no, you go ahead. I was finished.
Yeah, I understand what Ed is saying. Like, it's like they haven't had major exclusives until now, until Uncharted, and I will give them Bloodborne because that was really good. It was a good exclusive for them to
But you
have.
can agree
But
that that
like
was
this,
like a niche game, like not everybody.
yeah, it's kind of niche, but it still did well though. But it was yes, it's kind of niche. I get your point on that. But besides those two games, it's like they've been getting by on like really cheap exclusives. Like they had Second Son, which was like 4 hours long. They had until I mean not Until Dawn. What was the other one? The Order. The Order was like 3.5 hours or something.
Yeah, it was a
And
good
it's
game.
like they just been getting by on these like real cheap exclusives, and I don't know why it's selling. It's the console that people love. It's the brand that people love this generation, and I do think that the Don Matrix thing had a lot to do with it, and the fact that Sony was able to capitalize on that after that whole Don Matrix thing went
But
down.
I think like
You
people
know,
can't get over that thing. Like at the end of the day, like let's do a comparison. Yeah, I mean, sure you might get a fucking few graphics better on PlayStation 4 or whatever. But exclusives, there's better exclusives on Xbox One. You cannot argue against that. Like it's factual. It's not fucking fiction. Like that's true, that's real. Um and I mean there's third party shit there, like exact same thing. And and I would think, in my opinion, Xbox One has like way better integration with just like different types of apps and the TV stuff and all that. And I finally got cable in my room, so I hooked up the TV stuff to my Xbox. I love it. I fucking love it. Like
Yeah,
it's nothing out of this world, but it's just like so convenient to be able to do all that stuff through one box. Like I can see that now.
yeah. Yeah, the entertainment aspects of it, yeah, are fantastic. I would agree with that. And I know we have said in the past that yeah, Microsoft has had a lot of exclusives over the last couple of years that that they came out a lot sooner than Sony. But I guess this is supposed to be the year where you're going to get all the major Sony exclusives. Apparently, we already got Uncharted, Ratchet and Clank. Those games are fantastic. So now, of course, we're going to go to the final topic, of course, because Gary wanted to discuss this. Gary wanted to ask the question if Gran Turismo Sport is the next biggest game. So, what do you think, Gary? Is it? Is this a game that everybody's going to purchase?
um, I think it will do well. I mean, it's Gran Turismo. It's a big brand name, and Uncharted 4. There's no more Uncharted 4. It's out now. That's gone. It's out. So I feel like Gran Turismo is the next big name that Sony has to rely on. Until we're probably not going to get another Uncharted, but the next one will be Last of Us or something like that, and I guess The Last Guardian will be one too. But we know that's
Oh,
not coming
that
anytime soon.
The Last
Um,
Guardian.
yeah, that's another big exclusive people are looking forward to. But that's probably not coming anytime soon. It's probably going to be like another 3-4 years before we see that. But yeah, this I feel like Gran Turismo still has it's still got a lot of value. The name holds value to the PlayStation brand, and the way they've pitched this game in particular, I feel like it could do really well because the driving game community is huge. Like you might not know it. It's really niche. It's like, Dark Souls kind of players. Like it's like a really niched audience like who love these driving games, and you would never know that there were people that hardcore about driving games until you see the numbers, until you see, Forza is selling like large amounts, and
Wait, whoa, whoa,
Gran
hold on a second.
Turismo, and all these other car games. What was you gonna say?
Okay, well, hold on a second. Now I do have about two quick questions I have to ask. So first and foremost, um, here's the first question. Now, when they announced the game, they also announced that the beta was canceled so that they could finish the game. Do you think that that was a wise decision?
See, that's a good question. I feel like if there was a beta, because usually when Gran Turismo games comes out, there's a prologue or whatever, and that's practically like the well, not exactly a beta, but it's like, you here's a demo of what the full game's going to be like. Like play this and you'll understand what we're doing with this title, blah blah blah. So, usually you get something prior to, the main launch of a Gran Turismo game. So the beta would have been good just so people can see, where they're going with it. But hey, I mean, if they cancelled the beta to make this game better and it actually delivers, then fair play to them. But will they deliver? That's the question. I don't know. Because, I mean, I didn't even play the last Gran Turismo because it came out at the end of the PS3 cycle. So, like, I'm sure a lot of people didn't even play it. So I can't even tell you if that was a good Gran Turismo game or not. But yeah, I just hope they deliver with this one because, like, otherwise the name is gonna the value of the Gran Turismo name is just gonna plummet. Like, it's just the stock's just gonna drop on Gran Turismo completely. So
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. Now, one thing I do know is that it will support PlayStation VR, so that will be another reason that more people will be, I guess, willing to try it out for that. Um, so that's a plus. But I do have to ask this other question now. You are aware that there's quite a bit of things coming out in November, right? Um, and whether or not you think that's going to make a difference. Now, obviously, of what we know so far, Call of Duty will be out. Yep. Dishonored 2 is coming out around the same time. And then, there's a couple other games that are probably going to be announced at E3 that are also going to be coming out either October or November, because we know Battlefield's coming out in October. So now, do you think any of those November games though are going to have an impact on how well this particular game sells? Because of course, it's not like any of the other games. This is a driving game. So, your thoughts on that?
no, I don't think they'll have any effect because I mean, Call of Duty and Battlefield people are gonna buy Call of Duty and Battlefield no matter what.
Hmm.
And Dishonored 2, I don't know how popular that game is, but I'm sure it's gonna sell a lot. But I don't think it will affect the sales of Gran Turismo in particular. And you just said something that Gran Turismo is going to support PlayStation VR. Now
Hmm.
that's another thing that's going to go in its favor. I feel like because they could pitch this as the blockbuster game for PlayStation VR, and that will be another reason for people to go out and buy it too, because people are going to want to buy their PlayStation VRs and they're going to want a huge title to play with it. And what better than a driving game? Like a driving game in VR sounds like a great idea to me. Like just the fact that you can look around and see who's around you, other cars behind you or whatever. Like
Hmm.
that seems like it's a good VR experience. So I feel like that's another thing that's working in its favor.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. Um, so, how about you, Ed? Are you planning on picking up this game?
Fuck no. I can
Well,
and I can pinpoint the day, or not the day, but I can pinpoint the time when Gran Turismo died, and it died when they released Gran Turismo Prologue.
Well, prologue, really?
Because you don't remember, what is this, Gran Turismo 6?
This is I think this is technically 7 because 6
Okay,
released at the end of
well check
PS3.
this out. You don't remember 4, you don't remember 5, and you sure as fuck don't remember 6. So
I remember 5.
you don't remember shit.
I reviewed that game, so I remember
Oh, damn, I feel bad for you.
it.
But nah, I don't know. I just feel like Gran Turismo is kind of like I don't know. Like I mean, sure they do it right, but I just feel like that name has lost its like value a little bit. Like Gran Turismo was the end all be all for like what type of game is this? Like simulation?
Yeah,
driving
Is that what
racing
it's
driving
called?
racing
simulator.
simulator.
Yes, racing simulation. I was thinking of the word. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like they I don't know. I just feel like it lost its name, and Forza kind of like made a name for itself during that time. Um, so I don't know. I think they lost some of their steam.
Well,
Maybe I mean now they have a bunch of PS4s out there, so maybe people buy it, but I don't know.
well, I will say this. I do agree with what you said about the name, because that's the one thing I looked at immediately. Why is this not Gran Turismo 7 or 8? No, and now they have already acknowledged it's not a main number in the series. So to me, this kind of feels like this is going to be the testing of seeing what they can do before they actually come out with the next game that actually will have a number attached to it. So I could understand that argument right there, because just like you get Forza Motorsport 5, 6, and then you have Forza Horizon 1, 2, 3. So yeah,
So you think this is their Horizon?
I mean, I'm not sure about that,
Not
because
really, because
uh,
Horizon was a completely different type of Forza game.
yeah, yeah, it's a lot more open world stuff in that particular game. I mean, that's the thing. I don't really know a lot about this game yet. I'm sure we will know more after we see the Sony conference. But and let me just be clear, I don't think the game is going to be bad. Obviously, Gran Turismo does have a fan base. It's probably still going to do well. I'm just saying, to me, when I read the name immediately, and I'm thinking sport, okay. If they are intending to make this a new series where you have Sport 2 and 3 later, that's fine. That's great. But it just seems like, those that remember Gran Turismo 5, 6, they will think, well, isn't this 7? And no, it's not 7, because the developers themselves have said it's not 7. So, um, yeah, we'll see. But should be all right. Again, as you already said, Sony will continue to be in the lead. They are not slowing down anytime soon. And now that they have a lot of games out this year, I think it's a foregone conclusion that now you're going to see. I would expect them to do even better than they did before. Now that they actually have their exclusives out here, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. I
But
can't wait for E3 though.
oh yeah, it's going to be very interesting. Um, so any final topics or other things that you gentlemen want to address before we wrap up the show?
Um, Not really. Um, I've been using my PlayStation 4 for the first time,
Uh-oh.
and with Uncharted. Um, I mean, I like Uncharted the game, but play like that, I can't get used to that controller. And maybe I'm just like so used to that Xbox controller. And what's up with that fucking blue light? Like this shit's all new to me, so I mean, I'm pretty sure people have asked these questions before. But
Yeah.
like, god damn, can you turn that fucking light off? Like,
Yeah,
No, man, you need to glow in the dark when you play, man.
it's retarded. Like, what kind of design shit is that? and PlayStation fans are like okay with that shit. Like, I don't need that. Can you not
Well,
turn that off?
well, here's the thing. A lot of fans. One thing I will say, we could go ahead and acknowledge this. And I don't think it's really a big deal. It's a true fact. When Microsoft announced the Elite controller, and I mean, as soon as they announced it, I did see a lot of people asking, well, where is the play? When is PlayStation going to have a similar controller? So, I don't really understand what this thing is. Where if one company sees, that there's a lot of people that like their something that they do, then they have to, go around, turn around, and try and do the same thing. I don't know if Sony's going to release another controller. And yes, just to be fair, Microsoft has also copied some stuff that Sony does as well. This is how business works. But going back to this controller thing. I mean, I don't know if Sony is going to actually have an Elite controller. I'll be interested to see if that happens. I do know Microsoft is going to have something else to show at E3 in regards to Elite hardware. So you may see the Xbox 1.5 or whatever the hell they're going to call it, or you may just see an Xbox One Elite or something like that. So we'll see about that, but yeah.
I mean, I just have so many gripes with that controller. The light. I'm not really liking the L2, R2 triggers. Like, they're weird. Um, I
Well,
don't like
Garrett,
I don't like how the start button is like literally right next to that little trackpad thing.
yeah.
Like, sometimes I push the trackpad, and maybe I'm a PlayStation 4 noob, but sometimes I push it. I don't like the placement of the PS button. That button should be like go to like immediately, like, and I don't feel like it's there. I don't feel like it's where I want it to be. Maybe that's just me. I don't know.
Oh no, Gary. Yeah, Gary. What do you think of the controller?
Um, I mean, to be honest, I prefer using the DualShock 4 on the majority of games. But I haven't, like, I do really want to get the Elite controller, Elite 360 controller, because you can use it on the PC. So if I get that, that would be like my main PC controller. But at the moment, I prefer, out of the controllers I do have, I prefer the DualShock 4.
Well, all right. Well, that's yeah. I don't have a problem with the DualShock 4.
That's the only
Uh,
controller he actually does own. So
oh
No,
yeah.
I
Oh,
got
oh,
the
oh,
no,
whoa.
I still got my 360 controller. I use that for PC gaming too. Uh,
360.
yeah,
360 is over. It's gone now.
yeah, it's over. What you talking about?
yeah, but you can I can still use it on the PC. So
Oh yeah, you gotta get yourself a new one,
yeah,
updated version.
yeah, that's what I'm saving up for, the Elite one. So yeah, but at the
No.
moment, I don't see any problems with the DualShock 4. I think Ed is just super used to playing with the Xbox One controller. So
Yeah, I
Yeah.
probably am.
it's
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, yeah. Well, both controllers are great. I mean, I don't have a problem with the DualShock 4. I've gotten used to it. I did have a problem in the beginning with the shooters, but it's okay now. So I had no major. And I do believe you could turn that light off. I just never bothered to mess around with any of that. I just play it.
I
Oh,
believe you can dim it, but I'm not sure if you can completely turn it off. I
oh
don't know.
well, hey, well, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I never bothered. I just said, yeah, well, just play it. And I always have the controller hooked up for the most part. When I do take it off, then I only take it off for a little bit and then hook it back up. So, but
Speaking of PlayStation, this is something I wanted to talk about. I know
oh,
y'all talked about Uncharted a little bit.
yeah.
Um, I'm a multiplayer guy, so I played I would say a fair enough amount of Uncharted multiplayer.
Oh, okay.
Um, they have a ranked team deathmatch, which I guess is cool, but like I'm starting to understand the importance of a player rank, where it's just like you leveling up. It kind of like, even though it's not a ranked match, you're leveling up your guy. You know how these games do it nowadays. They give you two ranks. Um, like Call of Duty has its level or whatever, and then you can do ranked matches, and
Yeah.
but they only have the team death ranked team deathmatch, and then the other modes they have just regular deathmatch, plunder, and whatever. It feels like I'm playing for nothing. Like, who cares if I win? Who cares if my team loses? There's no rank. There's no progression system. There's nothing. I mean, sure, there's progression system within the guns, which is like get 50 kills and you unlock a scope or some type of uh thing that you can attach to your weapon or something. But I just wasn't. I'm not feeling that whole like
Yeah.
no player rank. Like, who cares if I win? Who cares if I lose? Like,
Yo, man,
what
you're
the
supposed to play for fun, man.
fuck fun? I'm a competitive. Multiplayer is competitive, man. Like, they need to do something to make that game competitive. Like, I just feel like I don't know. I felt like that was missing. Like, it just made me feel like uneasy playing that game. And I was just
Well,
like, I would play with a group of three guys, and then they would be like, kill that dude, he's over there. And I'd be like, hey, what the fuck's the point? Like, the fuck is the point? And you know my boy, Gary knows my boy, Assassin, the dude I play with.
Assassin, yeah, shouts to him.
We played Uncharted the first week. We're back on Halo, man. We're back on Halo.
oh wow.
Because Halo's competitive to us. Like, it just has that competitive nature, and like, we be yelling at the top of our lungs, pissed off, and all this shit.
Oh yeah.
But
One other thing about that too. You know, aren't they constantly adding updates? Because I know they had a beta. I heard for
for
another.
firefight, something like
Yep.
that, yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I mean they keep adding updates every month, and they're free. You know, they give you a map,
Mhm.
and I mean, yeah, I mean it's cool that they're keeping that game alive. Um, for the time being. But yeah, that's just my little gripe with the Uncharted multiplayer. Maybe most people don't even play it, and maybe I think to the PlayStation gamer, I don't think they care about competitiveness. They're all about their single player games, and I don't know.
Oh well, I'll be very interested to hear what the fans have to say in the comment section about Uncharted 4 multiplayer. I haven't touched it yet. I just been playing the single player so far, so um, we'll see. But any final words, Gary? Any final things you want to bring up?
I forgot. I think there was something before, but I forgot. So never mind. Next time.
All right. Yeah, 'cause I know it's late over where you at, so that's why I had to ask the question.
Have
All
y'all
right.
talked about E3?
No,
Uh,
but that's coming. You know, that's coming. We'll talk about it in the next few episodes leading up.
yeah, 'cause yeah, you definitely need to be on that one. Say some things about because I have no idea what we're gonna see at E3 from
I
either
mean,
company.
even though I kind of like separated myself from this like whole gaming thing. I mean, I play the games, and I mean I play some of the games, but I mean I don't know like what's coming out when and all that shit. But you be you got me fucked up if you don't think I already asked for that Monday off from work so I could watch the Xbox conference, because I did. Because I fucking did. I'm using some sick time, and I'm staying my ass at home and watching it.
Well, hey, I hope that they don't listen to this show and find out. Oh, so he took that time off to watch a conference.
Nah, my job is chill. If you earned your time, then go ahead and use it.
Yeah. Well, see, that's good. Yeah.
But
Oh,
yeah,
so
I'm looking forward to that one.
we definitely going to start talking about that stuff then. I think next week, as Gary said, because that's what everybody will be talking about for the next couple of weeks. So we'll start that process. Uh, I think that's it for this week's show. Um, of course, as I said earlier, Austin and JJ had to leave early. We do thank them for being on the show. They will be back because I'm pretty sure they also got some stuff to say about E3. But I'm gonna let you guys give your final shout outs. How about you go first, Mr. Edward V?
It's not boogie.
Oh, that's it. Okay, all right. Yeah, there you go. Snot Boogie. Okay. How about you, Gary? Shout outs, final words.
Yeah, shouts to all the listeners, all the people who listen and comment, every single week. Shouts to the Throwdown guys too for putting on good shows as well. Shouts to Matt and shouts to M Collins and Gority for supporting us on Patreon. And just to let you know again, we have a VIP group on Facebook. I'm trying to get that popping, but at the moment we're only letting in certain people. You can send a request, and if I know you and I know that you're cool and that you're down with the coalition movement, I'll add you in. But for the moment, we're mainly accepting people who do support us on Patreon. And in the actual group, we'll be giving away codes, and even when we go to E3 as well, we'll be giving away a lot of exclusive stuff in there. So it's worth getting into. I actually gave out a code for Doom, recently on the group. So yeah, it's worth getting in there if you can. So just search for the Coalition VIPs on Facebook, and you'll see the group. You can send a request, and if I feel like it, if I'm having a good day, I'll let you in. But yeah, shouts to everybody that listens to the podcast. That's it. Shouts to Ed.
Yes. And yeah, once again, thank everybody for listening to the show. Shout outs to all the fans. Thank you for the support, as well as everybody who was actually on here this time. Normally it's just me and Gary, so it was great to have others on as well this time. But take care. We'll talk to you guys next week.
Peace.
20